10 health lessons school never taught me. Back in middle and high school health class, we were given an outdated curriculum that left out some of the most important information that you need to actually get healthy and stay healthy long term. Now, I don't know if this was intentional or if it was just a lapse in knowledge, but the end result is still the same. The old school, incomplete, and outdated information is keeping you stuck. Just think about it for a second. Do you remember hearing that cardio is the only way to lose weight? Or thinking that you need to eat a perfect diet and live in the gym to get fit? These ideas and plenty of other ones that we were taught are frankly just incomplete or entirely outdated. And it has left us with millions of people who are struggling with obesity, poor health, and chronic illnesses. And my goal today is to give you some simple, actionable, and up-to-date advice that can hopefully help reverse that trend. Now, if you don't know me, my name is Yochheim, and I have helped over 1,200 of my own clients lose more than 10,000 pounds combined. And one of the big things that I have learned in my career is that it is often not about the new flashy tips and tricks. It's usually more about just unlearning outdated information that you've been taught and held onto your whole life and filling in the gaps specifically with what actually works in practice, not just theory. So while some of the information I'm sharing with you today was learned when I went beyond basic health class level education and formally studied exercise science, nutrition, and dietetics, it's also going to include some applied knowledge that I've gained from working hands-on with clients of my own and seeing what actually works in the real world with real people. So with all that being said, let's get into the video. Lesson number 10, sleep beats supplements. Sleep is arguably better and more beneficial than any supplement on the market. So let's break down the difference between somebody who gets good sleep versus somebody who gets bad sleep, specifically in terms of losing weight or losing fat. Good sleep improves your hunger hormones. Bad sleep, it wrecks them. Ghrelin goes up, leptin goes down, and you're hungrier all day. Good sleep helps you build and maintain muscle, even in a calorie deficit. Bad sleep causes muscle loss. Good sleep improves your ability to sustain weight loss long term. Bad sleep makes it nearly impossible. They have even found that sleep deprivation is directly linked to increased appetite, reduced fat loss during caloric restriction, and higher rates of obesity. This is all backed by data. And if you want to go even broader, sleep impacts life expectancy. Poor sleep is linked to a higher all-cause mortality, simply meaning you're more likely to die sooner. Good sleep, you're more likely to live longer. So here's the core idea. Supplements are meant to supplement an already healthy foundation. And one of the healthiest things that you can do for your health foundation is get good sleep. So focus on that before you move on to a fancy supplement stack, because most of the benefits that you are going to get from these over-the-counter basic supplements, you are going to get in similar form if you just sleep better. So more of it and higher quality. Lesson number 9, prevention beats medication. Here's a few stats for you. 93% of diabetes cases can be prevented with lifestyle intervention. Up to 90% of heart disease cases can be prevented with a healthier diet, regular exercise, and not smoking. About 80% of chronic disease and premature death are preventable by not smoking, being active, and eating well. Around 50% of strokes are preventable with lifestyle changes. And up to 40% of cancers and 14 to 20% of cancer deaths are linked to excess weight and poor lifestyle choices. So what's the takeaway? It's that one of the best things that you can do to stay healthy long term is adjust your lifestyle in a way where you prevent illnesses that would end up requiring medication and requiring a dependence on the medical establishment. And the big lifestyle improvements are pretty obvious. Don't smoke, don't drink excessively, don't do drugs, and don't be over fat. And the way to not be over fat is don't consume calories in excess and don't live a sedentary lifestyle. All of these lead to a longer life and prevent many diseases that would require medication in the future. Now, I want to be clear. I'm not saying that all modern medicine is bad. I'm not a total cynic. Obviously, there are use cases where it works wonders that otherwise would be unachievable. And frankly, there are some cases where you might make all of the lifestyle changes in the world, but you still end up getting the disease because of genetic factors. I'm not oblivious to that. But statistically, you have a very strong probability of being able to prevent tons, even most diseases, and avoid medication altogether through changing your lifestyle. Prevent it instead of treat it. Lesson number 8, consistency beats intensity. Now, I want to be clear here. We are not talking about the actual workout intensity metrics like RPE or RIR. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the idea of somebody being intense with a plan, such as, hey, I'm going to crush this insane extreme body transformation boot camp, but they only do it for 4 weeks and then quit altogether because they got burned out. Versus the guy who takes the approach of, hey, I'm just going to work on getting a few more steps a day and resistance training 2 or 3 times a week. But he does that 80 to 90% of the time consistently for 10 years. That guy is going to get better results than the guy who goes balls to the wall in the short term, but ends up quitting because it was too much. So you're better off working out 2 to 3 times a week, getting 5 to 8,000 steps a day and doing that for a decade than doing 6 to 7 workouts a week and 15,000 steps a day for 3 months. Because you want to play the long game. You want to do what is sustainable. Remember, you are trying to make a permanent lifestyle change and adapt who you are as a person. Long game over short game. Lesson number 7, strength training beats cardio. This is specifically in regards to losing weight and sustaining it long term. This is not to discount the impact of cardio on your cardiovascular health. We know that something like VO2 max is going to be one of the best indicators of your longevity, your lifespan, your overall health predictors, and your odds of preventing a cardiovascular event. But strength training is specifically going to be the optimal mechanism that helps you maintain muscle mass in a calorie deficit through weight loss so that you have a higher probability of keeping the weight off long term. A review in Advances in Nutrition found that resistance training during caloric restriction is the single most effective strategy to preserve lean muscle mass and improve body composition. And the more muscle mass that you keep while losing total weight, the longer you will keep that weight off that you lost. And you avoid becoming skinny fat. Health lesson number 6, muscle mass beats body weight. So the idea here is that skeletal muscle mass is a better predictor of overall health than just plain body weight. Because just plain body weight doesn't consider body composition, meaning how much of your body is comprised of muscle mass versus adipose tissue or fat. A higher lean body mass is associated with significantly lower all-cause mortality, while higher fat mass is associated with higher all-cause mortality. So muscle mass is a better indicator of how healthy you are as opposed to total body weight, just the pure number that you see on the scale. But that being said, body weight is still going to be a really good predictor for the vast majority of people, because the vast majority of people don't have enough muscle mass to negate what their BMI says about their body weight. Chances are, if you are watching this and your BMI says you're overweight, you are overweight, even if it hurts your feelings. Now, you can build enough muscle mass to get to a point where BMI isn't necessarily a great indicator for you, and that should be the goal, but chances are, it's not going to be the case for you right now. So, muscle mass beats body weight in terms of an indicator of overall health, but that is not to say that you should ignore your body weight and what BMI says about it. Because unless you already have a ton of muscle mass and are very low fat, if your body weight says you are overweight, you probably are. Health lesson number 5. Hey, if you're a business owner, there's one big extra lesson that I want you to take from this, and it's that you are a unique individual and you have unique specific needs for your health and fitness goals. And that's why I have one-on-one fitness coaching. And if you're interested in that, there's going to be a link in the description below to actually apply for that. I work with a limited amount of clients every single year. And if it's something that might be interesting for you, go ahead and click that link in the description to apply for coaching one-on-one with me. To date, I've helped 1,200 plus clients lose over 10,000 pounds and keep it off long term. So if that sounds like you, check it out. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of the video. Real food beats processed food. This one's pretty straightforward. I mean, there's a ton of data connecting ingredients in processed foods to lower quality of life and multiple diseases. But that being said, I want to be clear about where I stand on this personally. When it comes to food, I'm a big proponent of quantity before quality. I think it's actually more harmful for you to consume calories in excess to the point where you are obese, even if 100% of the calories are from real clean foods, than it is for you to consume some processed foods but maintain a healthy body weight and healthy body composition. So I would literally rather you eat the right amount of calories or quantity of foods, but it's a little bit processed, than eat too much food into caloric excess chronically, even if it's from real foods. Being overweight is always going to be more harmful for you than consuming some processed foods. But notice I'm saying some a lot. Don't take this advice to the extreme and eat a diet 100% comprised of processed foods. Even when you are consuming the proper quantity of foods, you should still strive to get at least 80% of your calories from real, unprocessed, whole foods. This is just about order of operations. They are not mutually exclusive. You can do quantity and quality, but if you have to pick one first, pick getting the proper quantity. Lesson number 4, daily movement beats gym sessions. Now, of course, in an ideal world, you're doing both. You're getting your gym sessions in and you're staying active throughout the day. But here's the reality. If you're just getting started and you're trying to lose weight, you don't even need to necessarily worry about the gym yet. I would love for you to, but if that's too much for you to focus on, stay focused on your nutrition, getting your calories in order, and just worry about getting general daily movement. Track your steps, get more in, and stay overall more active. And then, as you progress and get more comfortable with this transformation, add in the gym sessions, okay? But don't skip the daily movement thinking that 3 hours a week in the gym is going to make up for a sedentary lifestyle the rest of the time. It won't. I've met plenty of guys who are consistent in the gym but still overweight because their daily step count is 1,000 or 2,000 or less. So start thinking about the ways that you can naturally rack up more steps. Take phone calls on walks. Use the stairs instead of the elevator. Park in the back of the lot so that you have to walk further. It all adds up. And for a lot of people, especially if you're just getting started, this is way more sustainable than trying to go from 0 to 6 gym sessions a week and burning out by week 3. Lesson number 3, fixing your gut health beats treating your symptoms. So this is where we go a little bit nerdy and look into the correlations between poor gut health and all of these symptoms that come from poor gut health. A quick classic example for you is something like acne. Instead of treating the acne with ointments or prescriptions, heal your gut and the acne will improve or go away altogether. Same thing with bloating. Same thing with brain fog. Same thing with chronic fatigue. These are all symptoms that can be tied back to poor gut health. So instead of seeking band-aids that treat a symptom, why don't we just get to the core? Heal your gut and the symptoms often go away or reduce significantly. Now, how do you do that? One of the main things is regular intermittent fasting. Another idea is something like implementing bone broth into your diet or looking at higher quality, unprocessed foods. If needed, you can even ignore what I said in lesson number 5 and just go all the way to a 100% whole food diet. If we need to go 100% clean because your body just poorly reacts to processed foods, do that. Maybe have a food allergen test and see what your body just doesn't digest properly. But the lesson here is to go to the core, go to the root, as opposed to just treating the symptom. Lesson number 2, stress management beats diet perfection. Here's what typically happens. You try to follow a perfect, rigid diet plan. Everything's dialed in, you're eating clean, you're hitting your macros, you're doing great. And then life throws you a curveball. You get stressed out at work. You travel, something blows up at home. You have an argument with a spouse or kid. And what do? You resort to food. And that perfect little diet that you were trying to have just goes out the window because of real life. And this is a massive pain point for a lot of the people that I work with. The diet doesn't blow up because they don't know what to eat. It blows up because they're stressed and they binge eat to deal with that stress. So here's the fix. You're actually better off having outlets for your stress and following the 80-20 rule with your diet, which is 80% of the time you're on your game, 20% of the time you make room for fun foods and go off your diet and you enjoy life a little bit. And then outside of the food specifically, you find a better way to manage your stress. For some people that's prayer, some people it's the Bible, some people it's meditation, journaling, whatever. Could be active hobbies like golf, martial arts. You do you and figure out what that outlet can be that isn't you binging food. And here's another key. Just accept that your diet's never gonna be perfect. And if it's an actual lifestyle change, it shouldn't be considered a diet anyways. It's just how you eat. You're dialed 80% of the time, and the other 20% of the time, you enjoy your life a little bit. Weight loss studies have specifically found that adding stress management to the program significantly improves results compared to just doing diet and exercise strategies alone. So with this, you now get the best of both worlds. You don't have to have a perfect diet, and you find a way to better manage your stress so you don't blow it all up with stress eating or binge eating in the first place. Now, for the biggest one of them all, and my favorite, it's number 1, building habits beats chasing motivation. You can be really motivated, but motivation is a fleeting emotion. It is the same reason people are hot to start the new year and then they die off by February. It's the same reason that when the doctor tells somebody they need to lose weight or they're going to have a heart attack, it works. They'll lose the weight. But once they've lost that 50 pounds and they're no longer on the brink of a heart attack and scared, they slowly start to gain the weight back because they never actually changed their habits. They just sprinted full speed ahead, running solely on emotion. Habit-based interventions crush motivation-based approaches for long-term weight loss. This is proven, it's scientific fact. And the way that you build habits, the way you change your behavior at its core is by changing your identity. You need to start thinking of yourself as the fit person, not the fat person trying to become fit. You are a fit person. You are an active person. You are somebody who values their health. You truly adopt that identity and that belief, your habits will begin to reflect that. And on a long enough time horizon, when you've changed your identity, your thoughts and your beliefs about yourself, your actions change, your habits change, and then your outcomes change. You start to identify at your core that you are a healthy, active person. That's who you are. So, therefore, you become less sedentary because that's not you anymore. You start to eat better because you don't eat like crap anymore. And then you actually become more fit. And because you then actually become more fit, as a result of those new actions or habits, it reinforces that new identity at its root and creates a positive feedback loop. I am fit, so I do fit person things, so therefore I've lost a bunch of weight and I look in the mirror and I'm actually fit. Habits are the mechanism that make everything else stick. Without them, you are just chasing motivation. And motivation always runs out on a long enough time horizon. So my hope today with this video is that you can adopt at least some of these 10 lessons and finally take control of your health and sustain the results for life. Now, if you're a business owner and you want help implementing this stuff in a way that actually fits your unique life, I work with a small number of clients on an application basis, and the link is below if you want to learn more. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.